Yeah, I'm good. I'm just like trying to think about this whole week, man.
Yeah? It's been a big week for you?
It's been a weird week, man. I know you started recording already. You have?
I have, yeah.
Since when?
No, just like 15 seconds now.
I was like, how far much do I have to cut and edit?
No, just
first thought.
Basically, it started as, "Are you okay?" I said.
Is he okay? Is he going to make it through the whole
Bryan
podcast?
okay? Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to make it through the whole podcast.
It's just been a busy week for us both.
Oh, man.
It's been kind of stressful because like car issues and stuff like that, getting paid for it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what's, I've been dealing with all week.
It's a lot of personal side work that you got to do.
Adulting.
Adulting.
Yeah. Worried about adult things.
Do we consider this to be adulting?
This?
Yeah. I mean, if we are taking it seriously.
We are taking it. Well, we are taking our own time out of this. We're all doing all the work for this, you and I.
And we're being responsible.
We're being very responsible.
And releasing all ishes on time.
And we're making sure we are doing it. We're committing to it like an adult.
Technically, following every single check mark. Yes.
Yes.
Question mark. ...
Is it important? Yes.
No.
I think for our listeners, we've gotten a lot of exposure, I think, this past couple of weeks.
So real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys, I know this usually we leave this stuff towards the end of the podcast, but a little quick announcement before we go on and do the intros and stuff like that, which, by the way, do you have it ready or no?
Yes.
Okay, cool. This is a short story we can talk about.
Oh, yes!
That's right. Okay. Sorry, we got excited, but it was not a good story.
It wasn't a fun time for me and Bryan doing this.
No, you had fun.
I had fun
because you were watching me just blow my brains out.
I was figuring out with you, though, man. I was with you.
Were you doing the clicks on the mouse?
No.
Exactly. You're just reading from the side, going like, okay, this is how that works. So, for our listeners, we are now on 2 other platforms because
one for sure, one we're still
waiting.
Pending, yeah.
So, for our listeners who are listening to this podcast on Spotify or Podbean, we are now on Apple Podcasts.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts. Yay! So if you have an iPhone, go ahead.
It's any Apple device, but technically you can also, I don't know if there's like an app that you can use. I mean, I could listen to it like online. It doesn't have to be like an Apple specific product, I think.
I think if you're using an Apple product and you want an easier way to listen to the show without going through hoops on your device, you can just find us on Apple Podcasts.
Yes. So now we are on YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, almost there.
We're waiting. Wasn't a big process, but so basically we've been like not putting it off. It's just we haven't had time to sit down and get a wider exposure. So while we were recording our commentary track for
Chapter 11
of The Mandalorian, guys, so we got done doing it and we're like, okay, let's just do it now since we're here. Let's check it out. The first thing we did was try to get to Apple Podcast, and which we thought would be an easy process. They told us you have to make a Apple ID account, so we did. And then we're like, okay, cool, let's do it. Oh, wait, you got to make an iTunes account. Mind you.
No.
Yeah,
but that's not how that was.
No, but so mind you, when we made the Apple ID account, we had to go through leaps and bounds to verify the account. We had to get a confirmation email, then a confirmation text message, and then we also had to put in a debit or credit card account as well too. I
remember everything step by step because it's haunted me since.
So Bryan, guys, is not a big quote unquote Apple fan. Right
no,
now.
I'm not.
Never was. Anyways,
no, I've kind of grown on they've kind of grown on me. Like I won't use an iPhone. I don't want to use a Mac. It's just not my ecosystem. It's just not the thing that I'm into.
Yeah, that's fair. Everyone has their preference of what they want to use.
By all means, go for it. And I understand all these different.
We're not slandering Apple users, guys. We're just saying that it's not our personal preference.
Yeah, I got no beef
our
with
opinion
before they come after us.
Right.
So from what I remember, we made the ID.
We made the Apple ID first.
But then in order for us to get the ID secure, we needed to add like a debit card or credit card or some sort of payment info to purchase apps.
In case we wanted to, which
which we're not going to, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. So then we actually got that ID, went back to Podbean to put that in there. And then when it took us to the next part, it said, now you have to have an iTunes account, like an iTunes store account. So then I had to download iTunes onto my PC to then insert the new Apple ID into iTunes, which then went through like 2 different authentication processes.
Again, email and text message.
Then I have to set up an account there and insert all the information from the ID over there, but which was like a simple transfer that cost an authentication like thing that made us do whatever over the phone. I don't know. Some crap. Then all of a sudden,
we're good. We got everything. We got the accounts ready. We're ready to transfer the Podbeam information to iTunes to get to Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
Then we hit another stick in the mud.
Another authentication factor. Yeah. And then from there,
the logo, remember?
Oh my God, yes. So according to freaking Apple, somehow the logo needs to be like 4,000 or like 3,000 by 3,000 pixels.
So our logo originally, when you guys see it through Spotify, Podbean, or YouTube in general, apparently our logo is too small to use for iTunes or Apple Podcasts.
So we had to redo it entirely because I think I threw that away.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
everything.
Luckily, I didn't throw it away. I actually saved the file.
You saved the original, and then you saved the larger file.
And all I did was just transfer everything over to a new one.
Yeah.
And just enlarge the image, and that was it.
That was it. But the thing is that, like, come on, it wasn't just like, it was like one thing after another that we had to deal with. And it was just like, crap.
But we're getting exposure. I mean, that's the only thing.
So that's what I told him, because we were messaging each other after this.
That's the only saving grace this thing has.
I told him, hey, listen, what we went through, what you had to go through was worth it it has to be worth it because we're reaching another exposure of people that, strictly, maybe there are Apple users that only use Apple-based apps. So Apple Podcasts is another good reach for us as well too. And from what we saw, we got a couple good little plays from it.
Yeah, I don't know if this was because of Apple Podcasts, but I noticed that we started getting a couple listeners down in Mexico and then some in South America as well.
Really?
So that's from that, but I don't know how much
weird.
They might have listened to
That's
it.
the thing.
But if this is your first time listening, welcome.
Welcome.
We got 23 other issues in our backlog, plus some commentary tracks. And
the commentary tracks.
It could be that too, yeah. But honestly, thank you guys for listening. And you know what? This episode releases 2 days before Thanksgiving or a day before Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, guys.
Yeah, we'll discuss all that. But so that way we don't waste 10 minutes in the intro.
Yeah.
Renee, are you ready to start off this episode?
Go for it.
You go for it.
Go for it.
You go. All
right.
Hello, citizens. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour, coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, and aiming to be Whittier's #1 podcast of all things nerdy. I'm your host, Rene.
And this is Bryan.
And welcome to the show, everyone.
Woo! Yay! We messed up twice
in a
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. Great.
I mean, we took a week off. I think we lost like a month.
I think it's just because we're reaching the end of this year.
Oh!
And stuff. I know that happened to me, so I gotta be careful.
I didn't even realize that there was so much carbonation in that, dude.
That always happens to me when I open these things out, but it's worth it because these are really good.
Well, we got our caffeine drinks. We're back on that Mountain Dew Game Fuel grind again. I missed it the last time I had it, so thank God.
Mountain Dew Game Fuel.
Before we move on to our topics, it's been a kind of like a weird week for us in the sense that there's really nothing big to talk about.
So in the week of when this gets posted, guys, that when we recorded this episode, not a lot happened.
No, we record. So every episode comes out on Wednesday, and we record the Friday before.
Yeah.
And that's just the schedule that we have that we've been having for the last almost 6 months at this point. And the week where we got together to record this, literally nothing came out, and it's been short little things here and there. And so that's pretty much what this episode's going to be about.
Nothing in nerd news, guys. At least.
No, there's some nerd news, but nothing extensive last week.
Oh, last week, yeah.
Yeah. So
stuff has happened, political wise.
Oh yeah, when we went back in time and we realized that they were still counting and stuff, and now all of a sudden,
now he's like, oh yeah, I did lose.
Did he admit?
He conceded, but in his own Trump way.
So the drama of America is not over. We're still in season 2020.
We're still in season 2020.
And then wait for the holiday special to happen.
Oh god.
That's gonna be great.
That's gonna be great. Okay. So I guess if we were gonna talk about something, I'm more interested to see how the changing of the guard's gonna be, honestly, because he says
that's the holiday special.
Yeah, because he says he's not gonna be part of that.
That's the holiday special. We're gonna be watching that like yes.
And then the other guy's gonna go up there like, well, where is he? Where is he?
Well, I guess I win by default, huh?
Right? Yeah.
All right.
That's enough. Before
I actually got a little short story to tell you, before I ask you a question, because it is coming out, this episode is coming out the day before Thanksgiving, and I think we should probably talk about what we're thankful for as nerds beforehand, but a little short story, and it'll go alongside the question afterwards. Basically, I had a dream last night about the podcast.
Why do you okay, so this is like the third, wait, have I heard this story?
No, it happened last night,
oh, okay.
So how would you have known?
So, mind you guys, Bryan always tells me when he has a dream. So far, this is the third dream he's had about me or the podcast.
Oh, that's right. So the two before.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first one, but the second one.
Yeah.
I said that you left me to go work for like IGN or something. Yeah, and you started making videos and you left me behind. I'm like, well, great. I guess we put in all this work just for you to have like your own success. That's
just
awesome.
Like for me to skyrocket.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, cool. And Rene asked me, he's like, were you mad at me? And I'm like, no.
I wasn't mad. You were more like, you told me it was like a shock, but you were happy for me, which I get. But at the same time, like, you could be mad at me at that point, man. I
don't know what it was in the dream. I wasn't mad. I think it was just kind of sad.
Because you told me you were actually editing an episode of Keeping Up with the Nerds as well too, while you were doing.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So this one's a little bit better because we're both like doing well.
Yeah.
So in this one, I dreamt that you and I were like, we made something of this. Yeah. Like it's like successful.
It
we got our
something,
own. Yeah. And so we didn't have an office space, but I moved into a house. And in the house, I made like Keeping Up with the Nerds HQ.
Okay.
And so like I had like multiple computer monitors, a TV, and then I wanted to take out the gaming chair that I have at home in my apartment, and I put in bean bags instead. And then you came over and we started recording like Let's Plays and stuff.
And just doing a bunch of
and they're like, oh, let's plan out the podcast and whatnot. And for some reason, a number in the hundreds pops out in terms of the episodes.
Wow.
So it's like, oh, this is pretty interesting. All right. And then I woke up and I'm like, dang it. It's a dream again. No, but it was interesting. I was like,
that's pretty interesting that you're getting those types of dreams.
I mean, because I didn't work on anything the day before in terms of this or in terms of like, of the show. So I was just like, I don't know what was going on. Maybe it was because recording day or something like that.
Next day is recording day. Yeah.
So probably that's what it was. But I was just like, okay, this is kind of weird. But it was interesting. It was good. And it made me think about this because we had this conversation last week of like where we want to take the show and whatnot.
Yeah.
And, we're very dead set on this.
No, we're committed. This is, honestly, to be honest with you, this is the most committed I've been in a podcast at all.
Yeah, no.
I've never been this committed, even in my first own podcast, which was Undercity Podcast. And then when I had to do Nerded Down as well, too, I'm really as committed as I ever been before.
Yeah, and we talked about pretty much because Rene and I, if you guys haven't, because we've talked about this before in past issues, but we used to work on our own projects and they didn't end up going anywhere. I mean, in terms of like listeners and whatnot.
It was either like we felt like we couldn't go anywhere with it, and then when it was in other situations where we had falling outs with certain co-hosts and so as well too. So we both experienced the same thing.
Yeah,
which as of podcasting or creating podcast as well.
Yeah, and then when we actually sat down and talked about, we didn't sit down, we stood up. We were at the counter talking about this.
Talking about it, yeah.
We were just like, yeah, why not? And I think
because you were doing your channel at the time.
Yeah, and then I left that kind of behind. It's still there. It's just going to be like something in the background because this is where most of my work is going into. But
which again, this is Bryan's choice. I don't want the
it
to be like,
is. It 100% is because I think content creation is more fun when you have someone that also enjoys doing it.
Yeah.
It's very weird because like I tried, talking to the camera by myself and all that, and I can do it. It's nothing that difficult, but it's not fun.
It's not fun when you're doing it by yourself because you're dealing with all of the editing and like content creating and just everything's on you, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
And, which again, I have to applaud certain content creators that do everything, that, but certain content creators now usually have like a person that they have edited, but as of like making content, that's all on them.
Even
which
like
is cool.
streamers that stream on their own and stuff like that, they got a team behind them anyways. They got editors, they've got managers, they've got people that like hang out with them, and there's always that. So for us, like it was a blessing to have one another and be able to do this and be motivated to continue doing this. 24 issues in, we're almost at 25.
Almost at 25.
25,
wow.
And it hasn't even felt like it's been that long, which is really good.
It really hasn't.
When we get to 100, that's going to be like, whoa.
Which is, and I was thinking about this the other day as I'm listening to episode 24, and I look at it and I'm like, this is episode 24. We've produced 24 episodes.
24 main issues.
24 issues of just content of stuff that we've thought about on the spot, like 80% of the time.
But that's what makes it fun for us, at least. We're not like dead set serious on like, oh, we have to like come in and have a meeting beforehand and do this other stuff. We just have fun with it.
That's another thing. There's other podcasts that I've been involved with, and they do like Zoom meetings and stuff like that, and it's just, to me, it feels weird. And I'm just like, I don't know, just like, I guess because I'm not that type of person that has to like lay out this like the content as of, but at the same time, like, I understand, everyone's different, you know, but it's just, I like how you and me do it, where it's just literally, off the cusp.
It is.
That's how we do it.
We might get there at one point.
Yeah.
If, this hopefully grows into something much bigger.
Oh, yeah.
We might actually have to be like, good, we have to like, record on this day, do this then, make sure this is out, make sure this is done, and so on and so forth. And by then we might actually have to have, a layout and meetings and stuff like that. For the time being, the content that we provide, I think is good, at least for us.
Yeah. It works out right now at the time.
In trying to like work alongside everything with our lives and stuff like that as well. But, in terms of that, I'm very thankful that we have a listening fan base, because you mentioned, and we shout out those that actually come and talk to us about it and stuff. Yeah. And we really appreciate the listens and the responses and the conversations we have with every single one of you guys, because it makes us happy and it encourages us to keep going forward and be like, oh, this is interesting to hear from people and so on and so forth.
I'm so thankful to have our following right now. Yeah. That, even though it's not a big following, it's still a big thing to me, that to have people tune in every week just to listen to us, or to, even when they don't listen to us every week and they devote a day to catch up. That's amazing.
No, it's good. Yeah. It's good. I love it. And we appreciate everything like that. I mean, hopefully within a year, by next year, we have more stuff to provide to you guys, more things to look forward to. I know it's just a podcast for the time being with a couple Let's Plays that are supposed to go to, but
I know certain people are kind of like, where are the Let's Plays?
I'm sorry. I'll get to it. But, hopefully we'll have things more settled down within a year. Yeah. And, but at the end of the day, I'm just thankful for it. I'm thankful for you, Rene.
I'm thankful for you as well.
Oh, it's not being cheesy.
No, but I am thankful to know you and to, get to know you more as we're doing this as well too. Yeah. Getting closer to you and stuff like that.
It's a great friendship. I'm thankful more than anything for the friendship. Yeah. Because I think without this, we wouldn't be where we're at now. And it's great. I think it was all of the years that we've known each other was just a pot of, like, it was just brewing in there, and all of a sudden it's like a finished product. It's like, hey guys, the podcast, how about you two make it? Oh yeah. Oh, thanks. Life Voice, right? For bringing us together and making us commit to this. Seriously. So it's all good. And I know my fiance's probably listening to this right now, and she's like, oh my God, you guys are so sweet. She's going to come home and tell me that. I'm like, oh, I don't like being cheesy. She's like, I caught her before she came home. Right. Now she's listening to this and going like, dang it, now I can't say it. Because he knows. Dang it, he knows what I'm thinking too. No, but thank you guys. Thank you to everyone, the listeners, the ones that spread, the word about this podcast, the ones that talk to us and give us advice and stuff like that, recommendations, conversations, things like that. Every single one of you guys, we love you guys. And here's hoping that within 2021, within a year from now, we have more content to provide for you guys.
Definitely. I think we will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why not talk about this stuff before, because it's the day before Thanksgiving.
The day before Thanksgiving,
right?
and people might listen to this on Thanksgiving.
For those in America and the U.S., we celebrate Thanksgiving on that day because now we're getting listeners that are
forgetting that
elsewhere now.
That Thanksgiving is a national.
Is national, yeah, specifically within the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, thank you guys. Thank you. And continue to spread the word, and we'll continue to make more episodes and more content for you guys for, years to come, hopefully. So, yes.
Absolutely.
All right. So, should we get on to the conversations, the topics that we have laid out today?
Yeah.
Okay. So, a common theme, I think, for this episode is film, movies,
basically
theater stuff, which are still closed.
Which is funny that there's movie news happening and trailers coming out.
Yeah.
During a pandemic, during this whole pandemic.
But if you notice that, I barely see it. But have you noticed that most movie trailers that come out now, it's like coming soon?
Yeah, they don't want to say a date.
We shouldn't be laughing, but still, it's like it's just like weird. It's like, okay, when?
No, it's funny because we know why it says coming soon now, but we know the subtext of that.
Exactly. Oh, that reminds me, Wonder Woman 1984.
That's right. Okay,
that's
one of the bigger news, if anything. That's gonna come out on HBO Max
and theaters. Selective theaters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why, finally we're getting a release date. I've still yet to see the first Wonder Woman movie, so it gives me that time to watch it.
Yeah.
But when I saw that announcement, I was like, okay, this is a good thing, right? Because now people are going to watch it. But I kind of found a mixed response of people. I have a friend, her name's Alex.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, she's a huge Wonder Woman fan. Hopefully we have her on the podcast soon. I'd love to talk to her and her her boyfriend as well. They're big DC fans.
Huge DC fans.
But she was kind of like, from what maybe I'm wrong, but it looked at in her Instagram story that she was kind of like slightly disappointed that it was coming out on streaming services because of the whole theater experience that she was missing out on.
Yeah.
Which I understand. Because,
there's some hardcore people that would prefer watching those movies. Me, myself.
Yeah.
Would rather see it in a movie theater because, it's the experience, like you said. It's the whole, ritual of, enjoying to see a movie. Everyone has their own little ritual. They take their own little candy. They have to get the perfect drink or that one, snack, and then that's it. They're good, and they're watching the film in theaters.
I love that. Yeah,
with a crowd of random people, but you're there for one reason, to enjoy the movie that you're watching.
Yeah, so I get it because now I can kind of now that I'm hearing it from someone else as well in person, it makes more sense. Why there's disappointment there, but it's like, for me, the way I see it is, for those that have been waiting so long to see this Wonder Woman movie,
the thing,
they're finally going to see it because it's a good thing. Nothing but great things has come out from Wonder Woman, the movie, the first one. A lot of people, including my fiance, who is on the she enjoys her superhero movies, but isn't like hardcore nerd about it like everyone else. She enjoyed that one, the first one. It's a great thing to see because if it's even captivating the general, I don't want to call them like the casual audience, but the general audience, it's a good thing, right? Yeah. And so it's a good thing that we're getting the movie, which has been delayed over and over and over again. But then we're missing out on the theater experience.
That's the thing. So it's like it's like a double-edged sword. In a way, where it's like we kind of get what we've been waiting for, but at the same time we're not getting it in the way that we wanted. And
won't it hurt the studios if it's coming out on streaming because
well,
they won't get the actual ticket numbers and stuff like that?
They won't get the numbers. Definitely, if they're going to be doing this, they're not going to get their money back. And I think they've noticed that too, as of now that this whole pandemic, it will obviously bleed over well into 2021 as well too now. That, if they were to... It's slowly becoming like, okay, people, it's not losing interest. It's the kind of like the hype is dying down.
Yeah.
At this point. And it's like, when the movie does officially come out in theaters, people, they might not just, want to see it right away, if anything as well too. That's another thing too. If theaters do open, that you have a very mixed bag of people that will go and see it, but it won't be everyone. It's going to be, people that are hardcore fans and want to see it, But at the same time, you're gonna have those people that won't go in a theater right away, at least because of everything.
Exactly.
They're being cautious.
Myself included. I wouldn't feel comfortable. Like we were talking about wanting to go to LA Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But I even think that got pushed.
Yeah, that got pushed back because
it's not even in December anymore. It's supposed to be in December.
Same thing with the Star Wars Celebration. That was supposed to happen in Anaheim. But now, the day that was supposed to happen, people in the mail that bought their tickets got not refunded, but it's transferring over to 2021.
Yeah. Let me look this up because I want to know if LA Comic-Con is happening in 2020 still. I think it got... Did it get pushed back?
It got pushed back, I think.
No way. Oh, it did.
Yeah. What does it say?
September 24th through the 26th, 2021.
Yep.
So then what happened to the people that bought the tickets for 2020?
I think they got... It's the same thing where it's...
It got pushed back.
It got pushed back. So the release date, you still bought the tickets.
No, we didn't.
Oh, no one bought tickets?
No, we didn't. So that was the thing is that we planned...
ticket sales didn't go.
No,
right?
tickets. So it was kind of weird because Rene and I and a couple other friends, Manny and Chris... longtime friends that I've known since my time with Disney.
Yeah.
We have this tradition of going to LA Comic-Con every year, and now that we have the podcast, I've told Rene, I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's go. I got a group of friends that have already gone, and we were planning on going one day only because that's usually what we do. That's really all we need. I mean, the panels and all that other stuff. It's not to the extent of San Diego Comic-Con, and it's like. At the LA Convention Center. I mean, I mainly go for Artist Alley and some of the merch that's there and just to kind of walk around and get the vibe and, see some cool cosplays whenever they're there. So we talked about it. And we noticed that when the tickets went on sale, they were only selling 3-day passes. And we're like, cool. Okay, well, we only want to go for one. I'm not down to spend like almost $100 per ticket just to go for 3 days and only go for one, you know? So we waited it out, and then I didn't even realize that they actually pushed it back till September, which, I mean, good, because... the whole safety aspect was like a concern for me. I'm like, do we really want to go when it's still kind of like active and stuff like that?
Have they announced when a vaccine will be available?
No.
That's the thing. And I think that's why they're waiting so far into 2021.
It makes sense. But I mean, September is around that time when it usually happens. So yeah, I mean, I go to the LA Auto Show every year and it's not happening this year either.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it sucks, but it's safety is most important. And kind of going back to the whole theater aspect. I mean, there has to be a way, and I think right now it's just not the time to kind of bring in people. So I can understand why Warner Brothers is like, just put it on streaming. Whatever theaters are open in the U.S. or in some other parts of the world, just put it out there.
I know that certain theaters are open in different states and stuff like that, but here in California, guys, it's hard to find a theater. Like, if anything,
Los Angeles County specifically.
Yeah. Because everything's shut down now and everything's getting shut down again,
little by little,
along with like a curfew on top of that now.
I don't know what the curfew's gonna do, but okay,
I know, that's the thing.
Okay, Newsom, whatever works for you, buddy.
To his podcast. Can you imagine if he listens to this podcast? He's like, hey,
wait a minute,
I'm doing my best, okay?
Do you take Newsom for a nerd?
No,
yeah.
He's a rich bro dude, I think.
A bro dude?
A bro dude. He owns a winery.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen those. Sorry. It just reminded me. I went to Walmart the other day and I see this lady on the table and it says, sign this sheet to take out Gavin Newsom. And I'm just like, dang, people really, really want this guy off.
That's a political issue on its own, man, that I do not want to touch.
No, me neither.
But, I've seen that.
I've seen it too, and I'm just like, dang.
I mean, I don't know if it's because we're older now, we see it more, but like...
That's true. We're more aware.
Yeah, so it's like, okay.
But yeah.
On a personal level, we can discuss it.
Yes.
But
so again, guys, here in California, it's hard to find a theater that will show movies. I know that there are certain drive-in theaters that you can go.
Which I don't understand why they haven't done that, like, everywhere.
That's why I don't understand either. I know that there's a one that travels a lot. There's one that doesn't stay at one place. But they show older movies.
Perfect time to do it because, like, this is only one of only like 1, 2, 3 pieces of movie-related things that we're going to talk about in this podcast. So it's like, why not? It's been more than 6 months at this point that, you would think that certain companies would have already just allocated parking lot space or something to create, drive-through theaters. But I think it's restrictions in how the movies can be shown and how many people can be in it and the money that the theater would have to charge people to come and watch those movies because they would have to be renting out the parking space that isn't even all theirs. So I don't know, but it's just kind of like, I miss it.
I miss missing
the movie.
going somewhere to watch a movie on a big, huge screen that's bigger than a wall. You know?
So, all right, well.
So moving on from that.
So, because you want to leave the Marvel stuff towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave the Marvel stuff towards the end. Chaos Walking.
That was a new trailer that came out, I think, yesterday or the day before yesterday.
Tell me why that interested you. I saw it.
So, I'm a big, huge... As of, after Spider-Man Far From Home and then watching The Devil All the Time, I'm actually a huge Tom Holland fan now. I trust movies that he's in that I will enjoy it.
Okay.
That's how I feel now. He's on my list of actors that, if he's in it, I'm going to see it.
So, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I'm trying to find the right way to say it from my end.
So this movie was hinted. This was filmed a year and a half ago. Because I remember reading an article that Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley are going to be in a movie together, and then there was stop production because of COVID, and then they had to redo reshoots at the same time because it was a movie. I think it was either done, but they had to do a lot of reshoots at the same time.
Okay. So I remember this movie was announced a couple days ago that there was a trailer. No, it was 3 days ago or something as at the time of recording where they said, the trailer's coming out tomorrow or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
they were making a big deal out of it.
Yeah, and I'm like, cool. I've never heard of this, but okay, I'm glad people are excited for something.
Which I didn't know was based off a book.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
And then I saw, Tom Holland's in it. I'm like, okay, so not Spider-Man related stuff. That's good to hear because Rene has nothing good to say or nothing but great things to say about Tom Holland.
Yeah.
And then I saw Daisy Ridley. And I was just like,
you still have a little sour taste.
Yeah.
Because he said Daisy Ridley.
It's just,
I mean, okay.
it's nothing against her.
Yeah.
She's a good actress, but
I like her as an actress now.
I think I mentioned this in a podcast before,
well,
but there's certain actors where their characters are so tied to who they are.
Yeah.
Ben Schwartz from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz has a lot to do with that character. If he puts a lot of himself when he acts, Ben Schwartz.
But when he example,
Yeah.
Ben Schwartz in Parks and Rec, Ben Schwartz in Sonic. Could you put the two together?
No.
But somehow he made Sonic work.
Yeah.
And it's okay, I'm trying to think of another one. Ron something, not Ron. The guy that plays Ron in Parks and Rec as well.
Yeah, Ron Swanson. Yeah.
Yeah, but I forget his name. The actor's name.
Oh yeah. Everyone calls him Ron, and he's fine with it too.
But that's what he's known for, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you see him in other acting roles, and you're like,
I've seen him without his mustache.
yeah, and you're just like, what? Or the guy that plays, and I keep thinking of Parks and Rec because I love that show so much. Aziz
Ansari.
Is that how you pronounce his name?
Aziz and Ansari.
Yeah,
Aziz
his
Ansari.
character's so tied to there that I can't really see him anywhere else.
I thought he was canceled.
I don't know.
Because he went into some trouble.
I don't know.
With women.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't remember that?
I don't know.
He got into some trouble because I think it was because he was harassing certain women that he knew and stuff like that.
God.
But that was a long time ago, and that's why they didn't do another Master of None. Because of it. Because it was right before season 2 was going to come out.
Okay.
And that scandal of him came out.
I see.
And that's
I didn't
why,
even know.
That's why no one watched Master of None.
I'm not that much of a fan of his. So
yeah, that's the thing.
That's probably why I didn't really care.
I mean, he did funny stand up, but I think it was towards the latest stand ups that he's done that I was kind of meh.
Okay.
His early stuff is really funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back.
You know who's a funnier comedian? Funnier comedian is the guy from Silicon Valley. The other what's his name? Kumul. Oh man, he's gonna be in the Eternals movie.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's
the guy that's super ripped.
Yeah, he got super ripped. He's really funny. He does funny stand-up.
I've seen some of his stand-up. It's pretty good.
Have you seen the movie they did about him and his wife? having met, called The Big Sick. It's on Amazon Prime.
Is it?
Check it out. It's really cool. It's a true story
that I gotta check out.
It's a true story about him and his wife. When they started dating, she got sick and got put into a coma.
Okay.
And he spent time with his girlfriend's parents the entire time, which are played by Ray Romano.
What?
Yeah. Which, I mean,
The Big Sick is what you said it's called.
Yeah, The Big Sick. It's a really good movie. Like, one of the funniest stories. Okay, so one of the funniest jokes, I'll tell you this, is that they're sitting there in the hospital and they don't know what to talk about. And so then he goes, the dad of the girlfriend goes, so 9/11. He goes, he looks at him, he goes, yeah. He goes, so how'd you feel about it? I think it was a tragic loss. I mean, I lost a few good people that day. They're like, what? He goes, and it was so funny. He goes, I'm joking.
That's from that movie?
That was from the movie, man.
What the heck? Okay, I'll check it out.
It's
I'll check it out.
so good.
I'll check it out.
And listeners, yeah, if you haven't watched that, it's so funny. I remember when I saw the trailer for that, I was like, oh my God, I have to watch it. And I watched it and it didn't disappoint. It's a true story, too. That's what makes it even funnier. It's a real story.
Did he write it?
He wrote it, and so did his wife when she wrote it, too.
Okay, I'll give it a watch. I'll give it a watch now. I'll give it a watch.
Yeah. Big Sick, Amazon Prime, guys.
What was it that we were talking about?
I forgot.
No way. No.
Oh, okay. Chaos Walking.
Oh, that's it. Okay, I was like, no. Did we finally go off tangent so badly that we
tangent so bad?
Okay, sorry. Now
Chaos,
I remember my
Chaos Walking, and then you were talking about because Daisy Ridley.
Yeah, is tied so much to Rey, and I don't think I've seen her in anything else.
I saw her in what is it? Murder on Orient Express, the new one that they did.
Oh yeah, that was a movie I wanted to watch, and I never ended up watching it.
It's all right.
Okay.
It's I mean, if you want to watch just a campy murder mystery movie, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but other than that, I don't think I've seen her in a lot.
Yeah.
After that.
So when I saw that name, I was like, okay, Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley. Okay, great. I was just like, whatever. I don't care. I didn't even bother watching the trailer until we came in to come record today. You're like, oh yeah, did you watch it? No. Great, watch it. Okay, I watched it. My thoughts in the movie. I initially thought it was going to be like sci-fi because the first scene was like a space capsule, like falling from from space onto a planet. I'm like, cool, sci-fi. And then it turned out to be something about men having thoughts that people can hear because all the women are dead.
Yeah, and it's only the men that can technically think out loud. Yeah. That's what they call it.
So here's my thought on this before we, I'll put this out there.
Yeah.
Because we got to be very careful with how we say this.
Yes.
The trailer did not do a good job in trying to advertise what the hell this movie is about.
Yeah, because when you watch the trailer, like that's the thing. The whole world of it piqued my interest.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, okay, cool. So men think out loud and like we get to hear our thoughts and stuff. But then you find out that like, Daisy Ridley's the only quiet thing in the world. And so then that has a significance in it. But at the same time, it doesn't show you why that is happening. Maybe that's because that's going to be shown later in the movie.
Yes.
But at the same time, there was also like creatures that they had to deal with.
It was weird. Like, okay.
And then like Tom Holland has like a secret power.
Yes.
And it's like
so when we finished watching the trailer, I stayed quiet and you were just like, doesn't this kind of give you like feminist vibes? And I was like, yes, but I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
And so we looked into it because I was like, we can't just make a claim like that and
That's
not
the thing.
know because we don't know anything about this movie.
And we can't say that. We can't just say that and move on.
Exactly.
No, we had to look into it, which we did. We did our research right before we recorded. And it's reading about it. It was like, oh, okay.
So it's written by Patrick Ness. It's a young adult trilogy.
Yeah.
And it has to do a lot with like, I guess like the themes of it is like war between, I don't even remember how it was described, but
it was
like,
war between certain factions like Hunger Games and Divergent.
Yeah. So it's an interesting it's an interesting concept because I think that when the trailer just said like, oh yeah, only men can have their thoughts listened to and they're visualized as well, but women can't, and all the women are dead. It's kind of like, well, why? Is there like a science fiction aspect to it? Is it something like, is this like germ or whatever? Because according to that, we kind of looked it up on Wikipedia real quick.
In certain sci-fi stuff, like there's a comic book called Why the Last Man, which is basically a certain virus germ or whatever kills any mammal with a Y chromosome. So basically it's like, oh, okay, so there's only women or a female mammals left in the world, which there's only one man left in the world, and he's alive along with a monkey that share the same blood, I guess.
Yes.
And and it's like, okay, cool. Like we get to find out along the way why he's certain,
but there's that science aspect.
That's the thing. It goes science. Yeah, it's okay to do that in a science story.
Yes,
we're not saying that. Oh, it's like.
But it's weird when it's not explained to that extent, and it's like, so then why? Because then it throws off that vibe. So we looked it up, and at first I didn't care. So I'll give you my thought process to this whole thing, because you're kind of set on the fact that you're like, yeah, I'd watch it. Sure, why not? Okay. So my thought process to this whole thing is, okay, you know what? Tom Holland's in there. Let's just put my kind of attitude of Daisy Ridley to the side. We'll watch it, even though she's in it. She doesn't look like Daisy Ridley. She looks like a completely different person. Yeah. And I'm not hating her character. No. It's pretty calm. I didn't like Rey. I wasn't a big fan of her. In Star Wars, that's a whole other story.
There's other factors.
There's other factors. We talked about it in the Star Wars issues. Yes. I think issues 8 and 9 from Keeping Up with the Nerds. But they're back. They're on the back catalog of issues. Listen when you guys get the chance if you haven't. Yeah. But that's my whole thing with Rey. But I'm like, okay, so Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley, and then I see Mads Mikkelsen, I think is how you pronounce his last name. Yeah. And I was like, yes, I love him. I know he's been in movies like Rogue One and Doctor Strange and stuff like that, but the show that made me fall in love with him was Hannibal. And if you have not seen Hannibal, oh my God.
Guys, watch Hannibal. It is a beautiful piece of television.
I tried getting my fiance to watch Hannibal. Yeah. And because she's really not into the whole gore thing. The thing about Hannibal is that, yes, it's gory. Yes, it's bloody. Yes, it's gross. But it's so good.
It's beautifully done. That's the thing. It's not gory to the point where it's like grotesque gory. It is gory, but it's like it does it in a very tasteful way.
Okay. If you're sensitive to the gore fest, cover your ears for about 15 seconds, okay? Yeah. Remember the scene where I forget who it is that they're walking on stage and there's a person whose neck is stretched back this way or something like that. Oh, their vocal cords are exposed and he starts playing the cello. Yeah. You're like, it's
so good.
The angles and stuff like that. Or when what's his name walks into the barn and then there's a person that's stretched out over and his back is ripped open to see his bones in the back, but his skin is flapped out as angel wings.
Or the one where that one girl is cut up into glass fixtures.
Yes,
and you see the lining of everything.
Yep,
that was great. That was really great.
It's
as well too.
Tasteful. Violence.
Not to mention
gore? I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Not to mention the Hannibal scenes of him cooking human parts. It makes you appetized for you kind of I would kind of try it if that was presented to you honestly, and you're but didn't know.
Yeah.
You would try it.
You know that's one of the first 3 movies that friend of the show Bishop and I were not movies. One of the 3 pieces of film or shows that friend of the show Bishop and I kind of became friends over. It was Alien and it was Hannibal. I forget what the last one was. But when I told him I watched Hannibal, he's like, oh my God, yes. And we just talked about it. It's such a fantastic show. It's if you have not watched Hannibal, watch it. I know we got in a little bit of tangent of it, but please, it's on Netflix. Yes. It's being advertised and pushed. I'm going to watch it.
The whole series is
Holy
on
crap.
there. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Oh my God.
3 seasons, 1 and done. That's it.
That's it. And it was supposed to get a 4th, but it didn't get it.
But it ended in a beautiful way.
It ended in a way that was not satisfying, but beautiful enough that you're just okay. I get it.
Yeah.
So anyways, there was that. And then Nick Jonas pops up and I'm just like, yeah, that can't. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what? I get Nick Jonas has been acting for a bit now.
It don't matter. I don't want him anywhere near my sci-fi stuff.
Don't touch my sci-fi.
Don't touch it. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's the thing. It's just, I don't know. I don't mind him, but yeah, I mean, when I see him in a role, I don't take it serious. That's the thing. I don't take him seriously.
Yeah, that's why I was like interested in watching it. But there was a saving grace.
Mm-hmm.
It is directed by Doug Liman, who also directed Edge of Tomorrow, which is like one of my favorite movies.
Oh god, that's such a good movie.
Not a top 5, but it's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie. It's a movie that if it's playing or if you see it in your collection and you're like, I'm gonna watch that.
I kind of want to have it as like a coffee table centerpiece, like just the DVD cover on there. And be like, what's Live, Die, Repeat? Oh, let me tell you about one of Tom Cruise's weirdest movies. You'll enjoy this one.
Yep.
I remember watching that.
It's like a sci-fi Groundhog Day.
Yeah, but it was so well done.
It was so good. It was so good. It was so funny too. I remember seeing that in theaters. That was like one of the movies that when I saw the trailer, I was like, looks good. And I saw it in theaters. I was like, oh my god, this is actually
you come
really
out like,
good.
huh, okay.
Yeah. Except for Oblivion.
Yeah.
That was that was weird.
So
too many clones of Tom Cruise in that one.
But yeah, so
Chaos Walking, I'm gonna check it out for myself. I think I'm gonna check it out for myself just because I like the world of it, the premise of it. There isn't actually no premise that we've learned.
Unless you've read the books.
Yeah.
We're talking about this as people who didn't even know that these were books beforehand. So for us, it's kind of like, cool, I'll watch it, but because of the actors and the director.
Basically.
But not because we know it.
Yeah.
And if for those that know it and are like, yeah, I totally watch it, cool.
Yeah.
Please tell them to make another trailer that's much more captivating.
Yeah, I think it's more of exposing the world of it. That's what the trailer was at least meant for. I think it was more of just like, okay, here's the world, and then I think by trailer 2, if they do,
I don't think they're gonna do trailer 2.
If they do, well, it'll probably be closer to release date, if anything.
It's just gonna be a bunch of repeated scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think certain sites were advertising it or exposing it because of the names Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley being in a movie together. It's Disney properties, colliding into a movie. I think that's probably why I got the attention it got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What's the time on the podcast?
46 minutes.
46 minutes. Okay, not bad. Not
Yeah.
bad. We ready to go on to the Marvel piece of news?
Yeah. Oh,
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk to you about two things. One minor, one big. But we're going into Marvel territory now. Why does Marvel always pop their head in like
it was DC
once
for
every?
it's
still
for a good
DC
while.
week.
Oh,
It's every week. It's DC.
Yeah.
DC gets disillusioned. DC comes out with the future comics.
Yeah.
DC comes out with new comic books every week. A bunch of stuff from the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. The black and white trailer comes out. It's always DC, DC, DC. Nothing wrong with that, because I know a friend of the show, Rebel, is probably going like, yeah, you got a problem with that? You got a problem with that? Yeah, you mad about that?
Right now.
I know, right? I'm waiting for the message. No, I don't care. It's not that I have a problem with DC. It's just I want to talk about something else other than DC.
No, that's the thing. It's like DC's been coming up in all of our episodes, at least we have to mention DC at least once, more than Marvel at least.
We're still mentioning it, even though it's Marvel-related news.
Yeah, now it took over.
But I want to address something, because we've talked about this kind of sparingly in some other issues where Doctor Strange is supposedly going to have... what's his name? The actor who plays Doctor Strange.
Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch is signed on to be in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Mainly because of the multiverse movie that he's going to be in. And now they're kind of hinting at the idea that Spider-Man 3 is going to be a multiverse kind of movie.
A live-action Spider-Verse.
Yeah, and luckily we're both wearing Spider-Man shirts.
I know.
Yeah, on today's recording, which is weird.
Yeah.
You're wearing the symbiotic spider suit, and I'm wearing the 1990s cartoon
which
Spider-Man.
Which is a great Spider-Man.
Oh, this is one of the greatest cartoons ever created. But... it's kind of gotten the public to go over the top with the rumors that they're going to be putting Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland in a movie.
Which, okay, so I'm still at disbelief that will happen.
Yes.
Until I see the trailer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't want that. It's I'm weird.
Let me ask you this, because I've talked to people who are like super hyped about this, and then they ask me, I'm like, why aren't you hyped about it? I'm My response is I would much rather not know until I get to the movie and then be completely shocked.
Yeah.
Like, I want to keep believing that this isn't going to happen because how badass would it be to have all 3 Spider-Man on the big screen?
No, that would be like really awesome. That's the thing. I just don't want to be hinted at that. Yeah. Or so much as even like, oh, look, look, they have this, that over there, they have that person over there on set. I'm like, okay, that's great. But there was also rumors speculating that Tom Holland was on set for Venom, and he wasn't in the movie.
And he wasn't in there at all. So,
and people were disappointed, and that's what hurt Venom, honestly, was that
okay, good.
That Spider-Man wasn't part of Venom. That's the thing, and that was the main drawback for Venom. That was because overall Venom was actually a really good movie. It wasn't bad. It was actually pretty smart the way they did it to phase out Spider-Man. That they phased out Spider-Man in that film, but at the same time, because of those rumors, because of everyone wanted Spider-Man to be attached to Venom, the movie at least. That was the main complaint.
2-minute tangent, just real quick on Venom. I haven't seen the movie yet.
Oh.
So I want to, but I want to know this. How do you phase out Spider-Man when Venom only takes the shape after attaching itself to Spider-Man first? Because that's what the symbiote does.
Yeah.
It only replicates Spider-Man's aspects onto Eddie Brock because it was, on Spider-Man.
The reason why it's called Venom because it considers itself Venom of Spider-Man.
So
against Spider-Man. That's the thing.
Yes. So, but how does it take the shape
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, because I'll watch it.
Yeah.
We know.
So basically it's like, okay, Alien, goes onto it's like a bunch of astronauts find the specimens of the symbiotes, crash down to Earth, and then basically the symbiote attaches to Eddie. But the whole time, apparently the symbiote already names itself Venom when he gets attached.
So, okay.
He talks to Eddie, he's like, we are Venom. He goes, we are Venom. And I'm like...
But how does it get its powers? Because it only knows...
It doesn't... yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't have the Spider-Man powers.
It doesn't web swing or nothing?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It does do that, but it doesn't show it. It's weird.
Is it good enough to essentially make me watch this movie and be like, cool? Because that's the thing I like about Venom.
Yeah. I was more interested to see how they were going to, because I knew Spider-Man wasn't going to be part of it. And I was more interested to see, let's see how it goes. It does a good job. It does not, I don't want to say a good job, but it does a interesting take where it's like, okay, we're just going to focus on just like the symbiote powers. That's it. And it is weird to see Venom on screen without the white spider logo and stuff like that.
Okay.
They do explain like, what happens when a symbiote, attaches itself to you and stuff. There's consequences and stuff. It's not like a picnic in the park, obviously.
But that's still comic book, and that's still very much canon because we see Eddie Brock having
and then Tom
symptoms.
Hardy does a great job as Eddie Brock.
It's Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy is great. He's very charming. I knew he was going to be great in it, and he was. So that wasn't shocking. So
it still does a very good job at explaining Venom for being Venom without the Spider-Man aspect.
Yeah, it does. It carries its own arc.
Okay, so I'll give it a watch. But I can see where that connection comes from, where it's like, people were speculating that Spider-Man was going to be in Venom, and then it ended up not being, and people were like, well, then it's a crappy movie. Because I can see that happening in Spider-Man 3. We got... Oh, man, why do I keep forgetting his name? J. Jonah Jameson. The actor.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, thank you.
Now that just actually made me think of when you said J.K. Simmons was in, was it Far From Home? That just made me think, okay, so what if, okay, let's say Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. I'm like have a lot of thoughts going on in my head, guys. That's why
No, it's okay. Do the whole Zach Galifianakis calculation thing.
So basically, let's say they are in the film.
Okay.
But let's say they're only going to do cameos.
Okay.
That's it.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine to me. But you have people that are like, these are gonna be part of the story. Oh yeah, it's gonna be like
those people
into
need
the
to shut up.
Spider-Verse. Yeah. See, and
not
that's
to be sorry if there's any listeners that are like that, but no, stop.
It's that's the thing. 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna be like that Most likely, I think that's going to be the case. If they were confirmed to be on set, it's because of a cameo.
Yeah.
And it's not even probably they're going to play Peter Parker. They might be just playing another character. And it's just like, oh, look. Oh, yeah, Tom Holland's standing right next to Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know who has those properties. It's not, is it Fox that has them?
No, Sony owns the properties of both the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
So they both own it, right?
They both own it.
So
Yeah,
it
they
could
own
be
it.
that Sony gives Disney permission to probably put them out there.
That's the thing.
Because,
yeah.
again, from my aspect, yes, I would love to see both Spider-Man costumes on the big screen.
Yeah.
Because Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man costume is a classic Spider-Man look. You've got the apparent like lines of the web that are like extruding out of the costume. And then Amazing Spider-Man's costume, even though it looks more skaterish, boyish, kind of cool, it's almost similar to the Spider-Man version from the PlayStation 4 game.
Yeah.
And people love that costume. So there's no reason for that costume to be loved and the Tobey or the Andrew Garfield one to not kind of be appreciated for that.
That's the thing, yeah.
They're both good. And then Tom Holland's costumes were fantastic because they paid homage to the classic, artful, the original OG red and black comic.
I like Tom Holland's costume.
They're fantastic.
The red and black one's my favorite.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Like, Batman has its bat symbols in its bat suits.
Yeah.
Spider-Man has also its symbols in its suits.
Yeah.
And it'd be freaking fantastic to see them on there. But you are right when you say, like, people shouldn't be expecting so much out of this because then it ruins it when it's nothing.
Yeah.
And I would much rather just not believe it to then sit down on the theaters and then, go, and then he just lands and you just see camera panning up from the foot all the way up to see Tobey Maguire. Or he's the last one. It'd be Andrew Garfield first and then Tobey Maguire go like, pizza time.
Pizza. Oh my God. If he says pizza time. Can you imagine? Pizza time.
I don't
like
think
as soon as they're done, they're like, okay, so what time? So what should we do? And
they're prone to it.
Pizza time.
They could because keep in mind, Avengers had that joke about shawarma.
Yeah.
So they could in the end credit scene. It'd be funny.
Yeah.
Didn't they also do that in Far From Home? Oh no, it was Into the Spider-Verse where they did the all the Spider-Man when 2099 goes back in time.
Oh, yeah.
And then he lands onto that comic strip where he like points at Spider-Man and Spider-Man points at him.
They also did the homage to the dancing scene in Spider-Man 3, remember? In the opening.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Like, and they even made a joke. You're like, yeah, we don't really talk about this.
Yeah, but they could and they have the capability of doing so. So, yes, but I am on that boat where, not to be rude to the listeners who are in firm belief about this, but shut up.
Yes, please.
Let it roll out on its own. And if we get hinted at by Disney or by someone else, sure. Because there were people spreading this Instagram video where they saw Andrew Garfield walking out with Tom Holland. Could be that they're hanging out. Could be that,
could be that Tobey Maguire is just on set, not even getting
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. It could be that Andrew Garfield has just happened to be on set. That was it. Maybe he could have been in New York during the time or whatever they're at filming. And he's just looking at it,
Yeah. I mean, the rumors have started to die down because this was about 2 weeks ago as of time of recording. So, I don't know. Then I'm going to transition over to the next topic. But, this rumor kind of compilation that I've heard, it's also brought about the fact that people now kind of want Spider-Man to be partnered up with some other properties as well. I've heard like, oh, well, what if they announce like the X-Men because they're doing the multiverse and they bring them back into this and all this other stuff. And then the one, even though this duo is really well known, Deadpool. And they want Deadpool in the Spider-Man movie. I'm like, no.
I don't think that's the thing. Looking at Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, I don't know if that would be a good match.
Oh, no, it would be a good match.
Would it?
Yes, but it wouldn't be the match that we want.
That's the thing.
Because Tom Holland's still a high schooler.
Yeah.
And that Deadpool is like, yeah, Spider-Man's my lover boy.
Yeah.
And that'd be very creepy.
Simps over Spider-Man.
Yeah. So it's not going to be that, but it's going to, if it were to happen, I could see Ryan Reynolds like making jokes about like other Spider-Man where they were probably like his quote unquote like he simps over them.
That would.
But then he's like, oh well, you're just a kid, so I'm gonna teach you how to do your one-liner zingers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting because he has the capability of doing that. Because look, Tom Holland Spider-Man is a very funny one-liner person.
Yeah,
and Ryan Reynolds Deadpool is also a funny one-liner funny person, right? So it could work. But is Deadpool dead in the water, Rene?
Not technically.
Because
Disney has confirmed they are moving forward.
No. Say that again.
Disney. Oh, quote unquote. Disney has moving forward.
There it is.
Quotes.
We don't lie on this podcast.
We don't lie. Yeah, are moving forward with Deadpool 3,
Mm-hmm.
but apparently they have a new writing team.
Yes.
Which happens to be the writers of Bob's Burgers.
Yes. It's let me see if I can find it because I forgot their name.
Yeah.
It starts with an M.
Which is interesting that they are moving forward without the original writing team from Deadpool's 1 and 2.
Okay. So I'm going to start off by asking you this question.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy Deadpool 1?
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed Deadpool 1.
Did you enjoy Deadpool 2?
I liked Deadpool 2. It was funny. It was very... It basically showed... Like, basically, Deadpool 1 was like... You could tell that it was clever the way they did it with, like, either the budget and the restrictions they had to do with that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was, like, really good. It was like, okay, they made a great movie of what they had.
Yes.
Deadpool 2 was, like, basically the studio's like, here's more money. Here's less restrictions. Do whatever you want. And it kind of was like over the top in a bit.
It was a little too much.
It was a little too much. I mean,
there was too much sugar in the icing.
The one thing I did love, if anything, out of that movie was how they did the Juggernaut. I did like how they did the Juggernaut in that one, especially because he had his own theme song.
Cable wasn't bad.
Cable was great. Josh Brolin did.
Josh Brolin, there you go.
Josh Brolin did a great job as Cable.
Didn't they make fun of the fact that Josh Brolin, also played Thanos around the time? They made fun of it, right?
Yeah, he goes, "Sip it, Thanos,"
Yeah.
And then they also made fun of that he's not in the same height requirement as of like the comic book accurate one, as opposed to Josh Brolin playing the character.
They're smart about this.
No,
they're very smart.
But overall, so it's like, well, what movie do you like more, Deadpool 1 or Deadpool 2? And I was like, well, I love the way Deadpool 1 was because it was very clever. Again, what they did was very good.
Yeah.
With what they had. Mm-hmm. And Deadpool 2 was like, basically, it showed them like, okay, that's a movie that has the studio behind it because they have faith and they wanted to make more money.
They finally saw what letting go of the leash would do to the franchise. Mm-hmm. Which, I'm in that boat as well because I enjoyed the second one, but not as much as the first one.
The first one, because it was just so good the way they did it, where it was like Deadpool's story going back and forth between the middle of the narrative and then going back to the beginning of the narrative as well, too.
Yeah.
And then just like kind of like hinting at it, but then also at the same time making fun of that there's not a lot of X-Men in the movie as well too, even though it is an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It was really good.
Professor Xavier School of Mutants or something like that. And it's like, you can't show the rest
of the characters. Didn't they
joke that's like, where's Wolverine? He's like, was he too much for the studio or something?
Yeah. And then what I liked was that he goes, let's go talk to the professor. He goes, McAvoy or Stewart. He's all, these timelines are confusing. Which is awesome.
It's memorable and that's good. Like that's a great thing. Mm-hmm. But I'm back on that same boat where it's like the writing for the second one, like you can tell the studio was behind them. Yeah. But it's like, again, too much sugar in the icing where it's overly sweet. It's overly
you gave us too much of what we wanted.
Yeah.
Where it was like, okay.
The first one was a breath of fresh air because we know as people that have read the comic books what to expect from Deadpool. And when we finally saw it, we're like, wow, this is like the comic books. This is just the way we imagined Deadpool to be. Yeah. And Ryan Reynolds, God, he's a fantastic Deadpool.
It definitely showed his acting ability. It got him more credit when he did Deadpool. Like, he was already well established, but this thoroughly pushed him over the edge where it's like Hollywood, like studios know that if you put Ryan Reynolds in a movie now, it's going to sell. Yeah. No matter what movie it is. He will put butts in those seats.
Exactly. Yeah. He also idolized himself as or not idolized, but he cemented himself as Deadpool, just like Robert Downey Jr. cemented himself as Iron Man. Yes. Can't picture any other Iron Man besides him. Yeah. In the comic books, we see that's they actually draw him in, or
they reference that even Deadpool has reference as he looks like Ryan Reynolds.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's good to see that. Now I got the names. That's Molly Nuke's sisters. So it's Wendy and Lisa Monty Nukes who are going to be writing Deadpool 3. Quote unquote, if it happens. They've worked on Bob's Burgers for several years, as well as their series The Great North, which premieres on Fox, and they're having a second season in 2021.
That's great.
So they're up and coming writers, which is good. It is quote unquote greenlit by Disney, but I didn't read this part until now. Deadlines, and I'm getting all this information from comicbook.com. It's an article called Deadpool 3 moving forward at Disney with new writers, written by Charlie Ridgely. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. But he says, Deadline's Justin Kroll, who broke the news, took to Twitter to clear some things up about the Deadpool franchise, noting that the third installment is still going to be R-rated. Which, okay, sure, because Disney can go ahead and, they don't have to put their name on there.
They can,
but is it going to be on the Disney Plus service?
That's the thing. They have confirmed that before it was launched, Disney Plus, that they will only put out stuff PG-13 and lower. Not anything above. There will not be an R-rated content on there.
So then where is it going to go?
That's the thing. They could just do it where it might be available to just like, if it's going to come out. Well, that's the thing.
We're thinking of it as a streaming service, though. It could be coming out as a movie.
It could be coming out as a movie because they're just barely just said, okay, it's on the to-do list of things to do. That's the thing.
So it's not even, okay, never mind. Hang on. I'm thinking COVID mentality, like all the way to like 2 years.
For like 5 years, guys.
That's how this is.
That was me. I knocked on wood.
Oh, shoot, dude. I was legitimately scared for a second. Holy crap. I was like, no.
I wish I...
No. Mickey, we're sorry. We didn't mean to say anything mean. Disney's come for us.
We should have recorded Brian's reaction, guys. It was legit fear in his eyes.
Oh, man, my heart just skipped a beat on that one, dude. That sounded so close.
No, I was knocking on wood because I said COVID is going to go on for another 5 years. And I was like, knocking like that.
It sounded so close, dude. Oh, my God. That woke me up.
Yeah, he's all amped up now. Not because of the game feel, because of fear.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mickey. I didn't mean to offend Disney Plus. I'm sorry.
But that's the thing. So it could come out after COVID's done.
Yeah, it could. I mean, it's still got work to do, and it's not like they're going to release this within like the next year and a half to 2 years.
They could take their time with it.
Exactly.
It could be on like the next back because they got a catalog of movies they want to put out.
Yeah.
They still have to do internals.
Exactly.
So
they haven't even have a director yet.
Yeah.
So we don't know. But let me ask you this as a last question.
Yeah.
They've pretty much said it's going to go forward as an R-rated movie. But we've also heard, and keep in mind that Deadpool has had conflicts in terms of it being R-rated and PG-13.
Yeah.
Because I think it was the second one, right?
The second one
was going back and forth.
So I remember there was a lot of stuff that Ryan Reynolds wanted to do because the studio gave him more free will. There was a lot of stuff he wanted to do, and the studio was like, no. And they filmed a lot of stuff, and they looked at it and they go, no, you can't put that in. No, you can't put that in. You already have this. You can't have that as well too. So that's why they came out with like the super duper cut, where it's like, okay, this is all the stuff that it was originally gonna have in it, like the rough cut of the film that they wanted to do. And like with all the lines too, because there was a lot of lines on top of that as well too that they couldn't use. There was a lot of like stuff that innuendoed like what is it like not well like sexual predators and stuff like that they talked about in the film and stuff. So so that's why they did Once Upon a Deadpool was a PG-13 rating. But that was because that was to raise against cancer. It was for F cancer. And that was Ryan, and that's Ryan Reynolds, like that's what he likes to donate to and stuff because of the character of Deadpool.
I see.
So that's why they did the PG-13 thing, just to raise money at the same time. But
did he do that? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but did you do that as well because Deadpool is also a mutant that is suffering through cancer? But the connection.
Yeah, the connection there. That's why it made sense.
Yeah.
But they did a good job because they made it. Because that's another thing too, is that I think what made it great about Once Upon a Deadpool is that it was. Did you ever see it?
No.
Dude, you gotta watch it. It's very clever how they did it. Basically, they took they got Fred Savage, which we know him from was it the Wonder Years, or from he played the little kid in The Princess Bride. And that's what they did. They basically reconstructed the room from A Princess Bride, and the whole scene, or the whole part of it, because it goes back and forth. It's like basically Deadpool is like, oh, welcome to the PG-13 of Deadpool, but it's called Once Upon a Deadpool. He has Fred Savage tied to the bed because he goes, no one else knows how to tell a story like you, Fred Savage. He's all like,
is this a full-on movie?
It's a full-on movie. That's what Once Upon a Deadpool's about. It's about telling Deadpool 2 in a PG-13 as a PG-13 movie. That's the premise of it. That's the thing.
Huh.
So if they do that, they have to see. That's the thing. If they do make PG-13 Deadpool, they have to do it like that.
They will.
They have to, because that's what makes it great. Is that if Deadpool knows that he is in a PG-13 movie, he knows that's what will make it more palatable to watch.
So let me tell you this, because you pretty much answered the next question I was going to ask you, is that if it was a PG-13 movie, what do you think it's going to be like? And I didn't know about the Once Upon a Deadpool.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Because most people fear that when you roll back a rating from R to PG-13, you're cutting a lot of stuff out that was, lovable about the first two movies.
But in a normal movie, yes, that would be terrible to do. But because of its Deadpool, it makes it more fun to do. They can be more creative,
I don't fear the new writing team.
No.
Have you watched any of the new Bob's Burgers?
Not the new ones, but definitely I'm going to check it out after this now. Because I want to see how they're
funny.
That's the thing. It still has a huge following.
Yeah, it's still like, I feel like people Bob's Burgers is like one of those shows that like everyone has watched and everyone loves, but no one talks about it. Like everyone's seen Family Guy, everyone loudly references The Simpsons and stuff like that, but no one really references Bob's Burgers. But like when you talk to someone, it's like, have you seen Bob's Burgers? Yeah, I've seen a couple episodes. It's pretty great. It's such a great series, and I honestly have faith that the sisters are going to do a good job in bringing forth this quote-unquote greenlit Deadpool 3 movie.
Plus, to have a character to write for, Deadpool, that's going to be really fun for them as well, too. You got to imagine, like, all the things that they're probably cooking up right now.
Oh,
like,
yeah, definitely.
Like, and plus to have Disney,
the Disney money.
The Disney money behind it, and possibly maybe access to certain Disney-owned properties, MCU.
That's where the danger comes in.
Yeah.
Because do you really want to bring in properties like, I don't know, the Avengers into a Deadpool movie? They can.
They can reference
it.
Yeah.
But do you want to then mess up those properties for the general audience?
That's
because
true.
Avengers is a PG-13, asset to Disney.
Yeah.
At this point, you don't want to taint that.
No, but I think Disney should learn to accept that when it comes to a Deadpool movie, they should have not the right, but like Deadpool would reference.
Here's your mistake.
Yeah.
Disney has to learn.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen.
That's not. So you have to hope that if this is a green lit, we're going forward and releasing it at 2020 or 2023, that Disney turns its back and says, here's billions of dollars or millions of dollars to make the movie. Go ahead. And they start focusing on some other stuff, that it happens. Because if Disney starts putting their hand on this movie, you know that there's going to be a lot of stuff that they can't do in reference. And I can assure you that Disney's probably going to come up to Ryan Reynolds and be like, you want to make fun of us? Puts a pillow over his head. No, you're not going to say anything bad about us kind of thing, because it's like they don't want to get that. They don't want to get tainted. Fox has been one of those companies that has allowed that. Futurama, for example, always bagged on Fox because of the cancellations, and when it got brought back to Fox, they allowed it. Simpsons and Family Guy always do that as well, but Disney, not so much. They've never been really that friendly with a lot of their big IPs.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's just hope. Fingers crossed it happens. But yeah, I have high hopes that this supposed movie is going to come out and that it'll be good. Only time will tell, though. Yeah. We got any thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, that's pretty much it. Like I just hope that they understand the character of Deadpool, give him his, have him let Ryan Reynolds have fun. And that's what's gonna make the movie great. Is that when you see a movie with Ryan Reynolds having fun in it, it's going to be a good movie, especially because he is also the one giving all the ideas for the marketing of the film as well too. So I can only imagine with the Disney money.
He comes out with Mickey ears. Goes to Disneyland, rides the Dumbo ride.
Yeah.
Takes a photo in the
He already
castle.
took a picture that he was talking to the executives for Marvel Studios, like when they got bought out.
Oh my God. Can I just say that one of the funniest things that you could reference in in this movie is the scene to Endgame when all the portals open up and all the heroes come out. I want him
like an end credit scene.
No, not an end credit scene. I hope that he talks about like the span between the second and third movie that he went on like small little adventures and they go back to that part of the movie where the portals open up, and as like the army start running out of those portals, he just kind of like strolls out going like okay, sure. And just like goes out and watches the whole Thanos fight.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Again, this is how you can mess with those properties. If Disney just backs up a little bit, it could happen.
Again, just let Ryan Reynolds have fun.
Yeah. So we'll see.
He does need a filter, because there are some stuff that he wanted to market and the Fox is like, we can't do that.
That's fine. Just, like nothing super offensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let him loose a little bit. Let him bark a little bit. It's what we want to see.
Definitely.
That's what we saw.
We like our edgy Ryan Reynolds.
Exactly.
Okay? We like him edgy.
Exactly.
Keep him edgy, guys.
By the way, do you have any recommendations for Deadpool comics to our listeners if they want to read something? I have one.
I have one too. Read the Daniel Way run of Deadpool, guys. Daniel Way, he did a great job of keeping the Deadpool kind of like very, very, very fresh. There was one arc that basically Deadpool decided that he wants to die. So he goes and tries to get himself killed. And there's only one person that he thinks can kill him, and that is the Hulk. So he basically antagonizes the Hulk to kill him the entire time. And it's great.
All right.
Check it out.
I've got one. I was talking to Rene before recording. Deadpool Kills Deadpool. I have not seen a single trade of it, but if you can find a collection of the Deadpool Kills whatever, and Deadpool Kills Deadpool is in that one, read one of those. It's more recent. It came out a couple years back, like maybe 5-ish, 6 years back, but it's a fantastic arc. It's really, really funny. I don't know who wrote it.
I think it was Colin Bunn.
Okay, fantastic. If you get your hands on it, read it. Really great.
Yeah.
With that said, is there anything else you want to add?
Let's see. No, just that guys, just know that, again, if we didn't talk about Mandalorian, it's because, we're doing a commentary track sometime this weekend. We're going to be recording a commentary track for chapter 12.
Chapter 12.
And it was a good episode. I just watched it.
Yes. So that commentary track released on Monday. Chapter 13 will release next Monday at 2:30. So all commentary tracks will be released then. The general summary of our thoughts of The Mandalorian will be saved for a special issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour once the series has wrapped up.
Yeah.
Or the season, has wrapped up. So for now, we've got the commentary tracks. We do about a 10-minute little summary of it at the end of every episode. But
that's about it.
That's about it. If you're listening to this episode on Spotify or Podbean, please head on over to our YouTube channel. Podbean, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Or Apple Podcasts. Head on over to our YouTube channel and hit subscribe over there. All our podcasts will be uploaded there, as well as some other special content that we're still working on. So just to keep up to date with that, head on over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. If you're listening to the podcast on YouTube channel, in the description below, we will put links to our Spotify, Podbean, and Apple Podcasts. So if you want to hit subscribe on those ends as well, please do so. We appreciate the follow and support. If you want to get a hold of us, talk to us, let us know what you think about the show, head on over to our social medias, Keeping Up with the Nerds on Twitter and Instagram. They've got the same image, so I know the ats are a little bit different, but head on over, follow us there. We'll be using it a little bit more, and feel free to message us. Let us know what you think about it. Anything else that maybe you want to recommend something to us to watch, and we'll gladly shout you out in the next show.
Definitely.
For the time being, we ready to wrap this up, Rene?
Yes.
Are
you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Thank you, citizens, for listening to this issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour. I'm your host, Bryan.
Rene.
Coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California. Recording at Undercity Comics. We thank you, citizens, once again, and hope to see you all next time.